Welcome to WMS PASS Training. PASS stands for a positive approach to student success. Today, you will learn what PASS is, the consideration process, the PASS team and who's on it, the phases of PASS, what tokens are, and how tokens are used. So what is PASS? So here in Fayette County, we implement a structured behavior support program to service students with disabilities who demonstrate intensive and chronic emotional behavioral difficulties in the school setting. These students receive specialized resource program information and implementation. Consideration. To refer a student to the program, his or her general education teacher and/or special education teacher of record will need to complete the consideration packet and submit this to the building level behavioral support person or PASS coach. Once submitted, the screening committee will review the information provided and documentation and will meet and consider whether or not the student is deemed appropriate for placement in PASS. Candidates for PASS. It is expected that an appropriate candidate for PASS will demonstrate two or more of the following across settings: a chronic history of misbehavior, increased risk of failure at school as a result of misbehavior, participation in previous less intensive interventions without success. Program participants. So PASS participants will have met eligibility for special education services. Primary disability categories include, but are not limited to, emotional behavioral disability, other health impairment, developmental delay, multiple disabilities. Participants will have demonstrated a pattern of behavior that impedes his or her learning and/or the learning of others. They will demonstrate significant social skill deficits that need specially designed instruction in developing social skills for interacting within the school community successfully. PASS participants will have a lack of academic or behavioral success with a functional behavioral analysis, or FBA, and behavior intervention plan, or BIP, as well as revisions to his or her individual education plan, or IEP. So here at Wimburn, there are 3 members of your PASS team. Your behavioral specialist is Shannon Cowden. Your PASS special education para is Miss Kathy McReynolds. And your behavior intervention or PASS admin is Brandon Wilburn. Additional members to the PASS team are Tiffany Johnson, our ACC, the general education teachers that work with that individual PASS student, Miss Paige Hale, our middle school special education resource specialist for the PASS program. Behavior Intervention Plan, or BIP. The student's BIP will be used as a guide to determine the behaviors targeted for replacement via the PASS approach for instruction. The BIP additionally should provide strategies and support for the general education teachers and other teachers that work with that student. PASS phases. There are 4 phases in the PASS program. The first phase is pre-placement, or prior to administration or admittance to the PASS program. This phase incorporates activities such as ensuring that the student has received less intensive and restrictive interventions, developing a behavior intervention plan that targets 2 or 3 behaviors that interfere the most with the student's academic success or behavioral progress, and formal placement in the PASS by the student's team will occur at this phase. Phase 2, orientation. The student is placed in the PASS program. Once this occurs, the student will go through orientation where they will receive their instruction in the PASS room. The student will receive instruction on PASS expectations, the PASS monitoring system, reinforcement system, and social skills in the areas targeted by the student's BIP. In this phase, students will complete a modified amount of academic work provided by their mainstream or general education teachers. Orientation is brief and individualized. Phase 3, inclusion and maintenance. This is the longest phase that students will go through in the PASS program. Students will receive instruction in social skills in the mainstream setting or general education setting. Monitoring and coaching of the student will occur on a schedule designed to meet the student's individual needs. For example, 15-minute intervals, 30-minute intervals. Reinforcement of behavioral success is a key component to this phase, and social skills instruction / coaching is continuous. After a period of behavioral success, the student will move from being monitored to self-monitoring. Phase movement. So going from orientation to reorientate, or from maintenance to orientation, from orientation to maintenance. So movement by the student through the second and third phase is not a linear pathway. The students will go back and forth. Rather, it is a level of services provided, and it is fluid depending on the student's current behavioral needs and data. Students may therefore move from monitoring back to the PASS classroom for a period of reorientation and from self-monitoring to monitoring. Data gathered during monitoring is analyzed by the student's team, and the service levels provided is adjusted according to the data analysts provided by the team. This data determines the level of services throughout these phases. Phase 4, aftercare. Students who have successfully graduated from the PASS program are offered the opportunity to sponsor and work with other students who are currently in phases 2 and 3. Tokens. So in PASS, we use visual cues or tokens. Students' targeted behaviors are cued using these visual cues to let them know when they are demonstrating an inappropriate behavior. So students will start off at green, which means acceptable behavior. If student demonstrates the targeted behavior, they will move to yellow, which is a warning. It demonstrates that the behavior is unacceptable and the student has been given a warning and is expected to comply within 1 to 2 minutes. If the student continues the unacceptable behavior, they move to red, and red demonstrates that the behavior continues to be unacceptable and they've been given a reasonable amount of time to comply. Blue. Blue is a bonus token. It means the student has gone above and beyond expectations in both their targeted behavior and in the class. How to use tokens. So every day, a student will enter the general education class and start on green for acceptable behavior. If the student demonstrates a targeted behavior, they are given a warning and allowed 1 to 2 minutes to correct the behavior. If the student does not correct the behavior, they are then moved to yellow. Once moved to yellow, the student is given 1 to 3 minutes and allowed ample wait time to correct their behavior. At this point, the student has 2 options. The student can correct the behavior and move to green, or the student will continue to demonstrate the behavior and be moved to red. Upon moving to red, the student will be pulled by PASS and go through some de-escalation strategies and provided social skills instruction regarding the targeted behavior that they demonstrated. If the student is able to correct their behavior, they are then moved back to green and returned back to class. However, if they are unable to demonstrate self-regulation or correct the inappropriate behavior, the student will continue to be on red and will be pulled to the PASS room for further instruction in the targeted behavior. For more information, feel free to give Ms. Mack or myself a contact, and we will assist you to the best of our ability. If you need any more training resources, there are some examples in the staff training manual or folder. There's some materials in there. Please do not forget to complete the staff training log. Thank you so much.